Few players in the league work as hard as Jimmy Butler. In order to go from scoring 2 points per game to leading your franchise to the NBA Finals, some hard work has to be put in, and the whole league knows he is the last one to shy away from that. From intense practices to hitting the weight room hard to an extreme focus on his diet, Butler will never stop grinding. Today we're talking about Jimmy Butler's insane diet and workout. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe by hitting the bell notification below. Without further ado, Jimmy Buckets. Everybody knows Jimmy is as tough as nails, whether it be facing off against the best player on the opposing team or even his own teammates in practice. He's coming at you with 100% effort. And Butler takes that same type of mentality off the court when preparing for games. But come last March, when Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID and the whole league shut down, there was no more games for Jimmy to prepare for. But on the flip side of that coin, he and his trainer James Scott realized they had all the time in the world to start training for when the league started back up again. And the already strong and fit Butler had time to get even more in shape. And that all started with a revamped diet. While most of the country was packing on the bad kind of weight during quarantine, Butler was putting on muscle, so he needed to eat like it. With the aid of his trainer, Jimmy started backloading his carbs, meaning he would typically eat his carb intake at the end of the day. Scott reasoned that, since Jimmy wasn't playing any games, he didn't need so many carbohydrates to recover or need for fuel. So at the end of the day, his meals would consist of grains like rice, quinoa, sweet potato, and pretty much any other healthy carb you could think of. According to Scott, our thing was like, if it came from the earth, we would eat it. So along with healthy grains, Jimmy enjoys a bevy of different fruits, veggies, and a fair amount of protein from grilled chicken, which has helped him add on over a dozen pounds of muscle this past year. To start off the day, he usually has a breakfast consisting of an egg white omelet, berries, avocados, and a black coffee. And because he works so hard training all day every day, Butler also chugs water as the day moves along. The only other beverage you may see him downing is from his new coffee shop he started out of his hotel room during the bubble called Big Face Coffee. Apparently, the coffee in the bubble wasn't up to par, so Jimmy, aided with his own French press and a business-savvy mindset, started poaching customers from the bubble and selling his own menu of coffee products. And they must have been good coffees too, because he got away with charging a ridiculous $20 a cup, no matter if it was small, medium, or large. Now Jimmy is acquiring the trademark for the name and selling merchandise displaying his brand. Okay, that's enough coffee talk. While Jimmy's diet is incredibly strict and to the point, his workouts make his commitment to his diet look tame. Jimmy has always been known as one of the hardest working players in the league, but few people really understand how hard he really goes. And this wasn't something that just started in the bubble either. In fact, Butler wakes up at 4 a.m. to start his day with a workout, and he has for years now. According to Butler, it's a rhythm, it's a routine, and I don't skip any of it. I don't skip any steps of the process. He's already got his whole day planned out, and almost all of it consists of some sort of work on his body. This includes how he sleeps as well. Even though he's waking up as early as 4 in the morning, he always has to get his 9 hours of sleep, drinking an herbal tea before bed, no screen time, and a cold air diffuser. His trainer, Scott, said he's never seen someone so ready to wake up that early to work out. And apparently he's never late, not even by a minute. So by the time 4 a.m. rolls around, Jimmy is already working on his grip and wrist strength by shooting a 10-pound medicine ball and holding 45-pound weights by his side, dropping them and then catching them before they fall. Then it's on to balance and focus. Butler stands on one leg while a resistance band attempts to pull him off center. And then Scott starts to throw red balls and blue balls at Jimmy while he balances, and he has to catch the blue ones with his right hand and the red ones with his left hand. It seems like it could be a very frustrating drill, but it's a blast for Jimmy. He said, "I love this. Anything single leg I like. Single leg balance, single leg box jump, single leg squats." After the focus and balance drills, it's on to core and balance, as he does planks and bridges, essentially as a warm-up before he hits the court. Mind you, the sun hasn't even hit the horizon yet. So for the next hour, Jimmy hits the court and gets up around 1,000 jump shots, attempting to perfect his form. While his shooting numbers have been down in the past 2 years, that reliable shooting stroke always seems to show up in the clutch, leading to a Heat victory. Then, because he works hard from the second he wakes up, there's a lot of recovering to do, which usually takes the form of an ice bath or some yoga before he's right back out there grinding. And once the shutdown happened last year, Butler revamped his workout during the day even more. Scott and Jimmy started incorporating their own variation of the conjugate method of training, meaning they constantly rotate exercises in and out of a program. So a lot of workouts include rear elevated split squats with a trap bar, dumbbell presses, Vertimax machine jumps, and pretty much anything else to build up his strength. The only constant in every workout is a medicine ball, which he uses for anything from putting up shots to passing drills to catching while he balances. Scott says he uses this ball so often to keep a focus on Jimmy's speed while he's continually building muscle. It's all good and well to get stronger, but if you're slowing yourself down when you hit the court, then it all goes to waste. This way, Butler gets to build the strength with the ball while applying the method to actual court movements. Scott talked about the medicine ball workout saying, "We're trying to move as quick as we can. This is what separates elite athletes. They don't necessarily produce more force than non-elite athletes. They just get produced that force at a quicker rate." Butler seems to have a really close relationship with his trainer who works on everything from physical to the mental with his client. And Jimmy doesn't take the mental side of the training for granted either. He wants his trainer to push him as hard as possible. As he said, I think that's one of the realest things he said, is nobody cares. If you're asking me to do 10 reps, man, I only got 8, just do the effing 10. I guarantee you got 10. It's all part of the mental. If you could do it, nobody's gonna clap for you. Clearly Jimmy isn't doing all this hard work for praise, he's doing it to get better in every single way he can. Plus, Jimmy has a lot on his shoulders playing for the Heat. While there is a talented team around him, especially with the growth of Bam and Adebayo, Butler is still often guarding the best player on the opposing team and typically running the offense on the other end of the court, especially come crunch time. Not to mention he has led the league in minutes per game and he's usually near the top of the boards in the category each season. There may be wings stronger than him, faster than him, maybe even more talented, but nobody works harder and builds more endurance to keep that effort over longer stretches than Jimmy G Buckets. His trainer puts it perfectly when he said, "He's really the most competitive guy that I've ever been around in my entire life. And it's not just basketball. If you're playing charades with him, it's the most intense game of charades you've ever played in your life. Uno, dominoes, you name it." Butler doesn't shy away from that point either, adding, "I'm tougher than you. That's where I'll bank it at, and being tough is a talent. I back down from no one. I'm scared of nobody. I don't care about the name that you have, what you've done. You can't intimidate me none. And that's what's gotten me here." He's right. That kind of mental fortitude and intense off-court work is exactly what had the underdog Heat bullying their way to the finals last year. Now it's time to see if they can pull it off again. That's it for today. Do you think you could do Jimmy Butler